Elden Ring may not have a good ending, but it definitely has a bad one. Welcome back to Club Chair Critique. My name's Logan. This is the final video in a series on the endings of Elden Ring, what themes drive their narratives, what philosophies they represent, and what choosing them may say about you. The Frenzied Flame ending wears its themes on its sleeve to a greater extent than the others. It has moments in the narrative where it tips its hand to gesture very emphatically at those themes, effectively warning the player away from choosing this ending. These moments help us to frame the rest of the game's narrative, and feel more relevant now at time of writing than ever before.
However ruined this world has become, however mired in torment and despair, life endures. Births continue. There is beauty in that, is there not? If you would become Lord, do not deny this notion. Please, leave the Frenzied Flame alone.
If you need a refresher or a summary of Elden Ring, I give a quick and dirty overview in my video on the themes of its expansion. Do feel free to give that a quick watch and come back. Early in the game, there is a quest that lays bare the sickness afflicting the lands between, and tempts the player to read the state of the world as hopeless. Just south of the starting area of Limgrave is the Weeping Peninsula, so named for the never-ending rain falling on the area. And that seems heavy-handed, the area's map makes it doubly so, citing lament as the intended ambiance. Near the area's entrance is a blind woman by a broken cart, surrounded by the corpses of soldiers.
Hello? Is somebody there? Might I bend your ear for a moment, please?
Her name is Irina, daughter of the Castellan of the nearby Castle Morn, which has just fallen to a servant rebellion.
The servants there have rebelled. I can't be sure what it is. My eyesight's been weak since birth, you see.
Irina fears for her father and asks you to deliver a letter to him, asking that he leave the castle and flee with her. The scene at Morn is grim. It is overrun by misbegotten, creatures that are systemically mistreated by the Golden Order for bearing signs of the reviled primordial crucible. Luckily, the Castellan has escaped their wrath. Unluckily, he is honor-bound to stay until he has secured the castle's treasure from the rebelling menials.
The menials have all rebelled. They gave me good service, or so I thought. But it seems it was all an act. Foul creatures, as it said, and true enough, they're foul inside and out.
Edgar certainly shares the Golden Order's disdain for the misbegotten. Along the way, to retrieve his precious sword are peppered other signs of his prejudice, clues that this revolt was warranted. Behind the castle, some of the misbegotten cower in fear, too traumatized to join the revolt. A slaughtered servant carries a whip, bringing the precise nature of the torment that the misbegotten faced into high relief. Nevertheless, we defeat the leader of this revolt and reclaim the storied sword of Castle Morn. Edgar is now able to leave and rejoin Irina. However, he is too late.
I chose duty over my daughter's safety. And that is how fate has answered.
I'll find them. The foul wretches responsible for this. I'll hunt them down and exterminate every last one of them. Rest assured, Irina, it will be done.
The real tragedy of Irina's story is in its absolute futility. Edgar smuggled her out of the castle and stayed behind to protect her, only to lose his only real chance at saving her life. He suppressed a decidedly deserved slave rebellion, only for the slave owner to continue his violent mistreatment of the misbegotten. The only truly innocent person here is the one lying dead at the end of it. The violence will continue regardless. After these tragic events, it's tempting to read the setting and tone of Elden Ring like that of previous From Software installments, a world that is on its way out, where good deeds are unfailingly punished with cruelty, and the best one can do is to end or transcend the cycle of misery. The temptation of this assessment is in its simplicity. If the world's dying already, its occupants are liberated from the burden of answering hard questions, and all the complexities of how to address the world's ills collapse into a flat, reassuring futility, an assurance that none of it matters. Outside Castle Morn lies an ominous clue foreshadowing this very conclusion. A village occupied by emaciated corpses frozen in poses of agony, their eyes burning with a sickly yellow flame. In the church is an incantation introducing us to the source of the ailing village's madness, the flame of frenzy, originating from something called the Three Fingers. The church is fittingly named Kalu Baptismal, as Castle Morn is indeed a callous introduction to the cruelty of the lands between. The yellow flame is linked more directly to Irina's tragedy just beyond Stormvale Castle. Behind the castle is a phantom with a curious item nearby, the Shabriri grape, a yellowed eyeball. Its appearance recalls the maddened villagers and beasts of the ailing village, but its description offers little but a vague instruction. Give to the blind maiden to guide her to the distant light. That maiden stands just outside, and on speaking to her, she should seem very familiar.
Hello? Is someone there? My name is Hayata, and I'm journeying in search of the distant light. It will lead me to my true duty as a finger maiden.
Something here is wrong. Hayata is identical to Irina, but she introduces herself by a different name, as if she does not recognize us. The resemblance and reintroduction serve two purposes: to unsettle the player and to link the quest for the Frenzied Flame thematically to the tragedy at Castle Morn. One might be tempted to assume that Hayata is Irina Reborn, or something occupying Irina's body. I don't know if I subscribe to the theory that Hayata is secretly Shabriri or whatever, and I don't think it really matters. What does matter is the sense that she is off, the uncertainty of whether she is deliberately misleading you. This poor dead woman reappears with a new identity and an aspiration to be a finger maiden, but references an unspecified number of fingers.
May the blessing of the fingers be upon you.
To accomplish her goal, she asks for an eyeball to eat, calling it a Shabriri grape, and it's not certain whether she's aware of their actual nature.
And when I eat one of those grapes, I can feel the light in the back of my eyes.
The symbolic gesture giving eyes to the blind to pursue the light should evoke revelation, a bestowal of sacred truth, not unlike in Dark Souls 3, where giving the Firekeeper her eyes reveals secret knowledge and enables a new ending to the game.
But Firekeepers are not meant to have eyes. It is forbidden. These will reveal through a sliver of light frightful images of betrayal. A world without fire. Ashen One, is this truly thy wish?
But this metaphor, like Hayata's character, is slightly off. The grapes are taken from the infirm, and Hayata eats them, not yet aware of their nature. Most importantly, Hayata does not appear until Irina is dead. We need to have witnessed the tragedy at Castle Morn to meet Hayata and begin the quest for the Frenzied Flame. The dependency is both structural and thematic. In the same way that Irina's death mechanically enables Hayata to appear, witnessing everything at Castle Morn, the failed slave revolt, the Castellan's cruelty to the misbegotten, and Irina's tragic death engenders the sense of futility that pushes one to seek the Frenzied Flame. The level design here underlines Hayata's quest as particularly important. The map bottlenecks between Limgrave and Liurnia, forcing you to either complete Stormvale or sneak along its side, and in both cases Hayata is placed at the end of the path, almost unmissable in a way few other NPCs are. The level design is framing the quest for the Frenzied Flame as central to the narrative, but for what purpose? From here, Hayata moves north to the Purified Ruins and asks again for a Shabriri grape. Nearby is another phantom in a similar pose to the madness-stricken villagers, bidding his fellows emerge from below ground to give Hayata their eyes. What was implied by the Stormvale phantom is confirmed here. namely that these wretches are giving Hayata their own eyes. The eye grape is hidden underground in the ruins' obligatory treasure stash. That stash also contains the Two Fingers heirloom talisman. These details together deliver some really cool storytelling. The faith-boosting talisman juxtaposed with the grape affirms the religious nature of this ritual and takes a subtle dig at the more conventional faith of the Golden Order by associating it with this gruesome ritual. Hayata's next stop on her northward march is the Gate Town Bridge, which unfortunately does not have a Shabriri grape just lying around. It is instead across the map on the western edge of Liurnia, at the Revenger's Shack. You are invaded here by Edgar, surrounded by the corpses of murdered misbegotten, driven mad by his lust for revenge. He is a reminder of the tragedy that started you on this quest, the unending cycle of senseless violence that seems impossible to break. But a phantom nearby offers a way out, an escape from the suffering. Ah, the poor fellow, gone perfectly mad. Love, revenge, the frenzied flame melts it all away. When Hayata consumes the grape from Edgar, we can reveal to her what the grapes really are, prompting a perfectly reasonable response.
No. That's not possible. Not all of those people. So those noises I heard were...
1 minute, 37 seconds later.
Is that you over there? I've gleaned something very important indeed, thanks to you.
She recovers on reloading the area and is able to reconcile this revelation with her goals.
The reason why it was eyes I had to eat, the distant light, is far and frail. So faint it can't be seen by the naked eye. But with everyone's eyes together, it appears. Finally, it all makes sense. I'm certain now. I will be a finger maiden.
Hayata's claim here has an air of populism to it, and attempts to dignify this mass self-mutilation by framing it as the downtrodden coming together to help her realize her dream. That may seem to be the case for her, not having seen the phantoms contorted in pain, or Edgar driven mad by grief and revenge, or the bodies of his many victims. Hayata next stops at the Bellum Church, on the road the Golden Order marched during its war with Rael Lucaria. She requires a final grape to reach the distant light, but she needs something a little stronger than the standard issue Shabriri grapes. Well, that is how they get you. You get hooked on the cheap stuff, and after a while, it just does not get you high like it used to. You hate to see it.
Ooh.
Farther north on the Bellum Highway is a tower with a great yellow conflagration above, incurring madness when we step within view of it, a warning to stay well away from whatever is up there, or a beacon to those seeking the frenzied flame. Surviving the trip to the tower rewards us with another incantation of the maddening Three Fingers, Shabriri's Howl, our first detail about this character beyond the eponymous grapes. It names him the most reviled man in history, the alleged patient zero for the frenzied flame. We get a bit more detail from a talisman in the nearby frenzied flame village, which tells us that he, quote, had his eyes gouged out as punishment for the crime of slander, and with time, the blight of the flame of frenzy came to dwell in the empty sockets. The ritual of pulling out one's eyes is an homage then to Shabriri's punishment, a reenactment of the torture he endured, to inculcate the flame of frenzy in themselves as Shabriri did. Based on what Hayata said at the Gate Town Bridge, one might read this as a display of revolutionary solidarity among his followers, a ritual that both recognizes Shabriri's mistreatment and guides others to discover what he did, the frenzied flame. Other pious characters are also represented with self-imposed blindness, so this tracks with that motif. Just past the village is the Church of Inhibition, where we get another beat that further centers this quest in Elden Ring's story. Here we are invaded by a fellow tarnished, festering fingerprint Vike. His armor marks him as one clasped by the burnt fingers, more importantly as the guy on the cover of the game.
I'm gonna kill you. I am you. No, you're not anything. I'm on the cover of the game.
Every attack of his incurs buildup of madness, and when defeated, he drops the promised fingerprint grape. Every tarnished character is meant to reflect our own to an extent, or at least prompt comparison. This goes double for Vike, given that he's on the cover of the game and that he is the only other tarnished to become a candidate for Elden Lord. His inclusion in this quest would seem to confirm what Castlemorn implied, that futility is a theme central to Elden Ring, that despair is the only rational response to a world plagued with injustice, that there is no recourse left but to incinerate all that divides and distinguishes, and let chaos take the world.
May chaos take.
It is interesting that there is a phantom near every Shabriri grape, guiding the player to the grapes and endorsing the flame of frenzy. It reinforces the sense that Hyetta is acting on behalf of the downtrodden, those killed senselessly by the Golden Order and its rivals, enacting vengeance for injustice. But is this true? Is the frenzied flame justice? This framing is complicated somewhat when we later meet the man himself, Shabriri. He appears to us in the game's final area in the guise of a former ally, Yura, whom we saw perish when he failed in his quest to save his beloved Eleonora.
Please, Eleonora, yield to the cessplant no longer. Do not stain the immaculacy of your sword, your flesh, your fire. As for his flesh, he gave it to me. Shabriri, I hope you can make your peace with that.
Shabriri then attempts to sway you in much the same way that he once did Vike, playing off your sympathy for your companion Melina, and moralizing the choice to rob her of her agency.
Your ascendancy requires her sacrifice, whether she wishes it or not. But how would the Lord, crowned so, be looked upon?
He directs you to the 3 fingers below the capital to inherit the frenzied flame, cloaking it in language about the path of true rigor and righteous hardship, and again uses this populist language about breaking down barriers, incinerating all that divides and distinguishes. He's saying out loud what the game implies with narratives like Arena's and Vike's, that the world is on its way out, that existence here promises only more suffering, and the only humane choice is to burn it all down and end the suffering. But then he gives the game away.
Ah, may chaos take the world. May chaos take the world.
Shabriri is another one of those subjects of endless litigation by loreheads, and that discussion misses the more important symbolism of his character. When you kill him, and you should kill him, he delivers an important line.
Is chaos incarnate? I cannot die. May chaos
Shabriri saying he is eternal is not an invitation to wonder what other NPCs he may secretly be puppeting. It says that the potential for his worldview is within all of us. Shabriri is nihilism born of misery. He suffered mutilation and societal condemnation, and he intellectualized his resentment and pain into a morality that says that the world is beyond saving. That is the flame of frenzy. It is worse than mere madness. It is despair that infects how one sees the world. Pulling out one's afflicted eyes is indeed an homage to Shabriri, but not one of solidarity. It is the spread of a diseased philosophy, giving into misery and blinding oneself to any solutions for one's problems, or the world's problems. This is why Shabriri appears to us in Yura's body. That despair takes over when we're at our lowest, when we've failed, when we can't see a way out.
I feel like you are being sabotaged by your inner saboteur.
The next time you rest at a site of grace, Melina is quick to contradict what Shabriri said about sparing her.
There is something I'd like to say. My purpose was given to me by my mother, but now I act of my own volition. I have set my heart upon the world that I would have, regardless of my mother's designs. I won't allow anyone to speak ill of that, not even you.
There is a toxic narcissism to a nihilistic worldview. It centers one's personal despair and ignores the impact that inaction has on others. It is a self-fulfilling, self-defeating prophecy. When you're convinced the world cannot be improved, you do nothing. And because you do nothing, the world is not improved. Melena's dialogue here and later en route to the Three Fingers serves as a forceful reminder of this fact. Acting on her behalf robs her of her agency, even if you do so with the intention of saving her. The Flame of Frenzy is central to Elden Ring's narrative, but not as an intended choice. It's a cautionary tale. Vike succumbed to despair over the state of the world, giving into the temptation of madness. He is a sympathetic failure, an acknowledgement that even the strongest among us are not immune to the temptation of nihilism. Not even you.
If you would become Lord, leave the frenzied flame alone.
With the moralistic platitudes of populism and mercy stripped from the Frenzied Flame narrative, the remaining plot points are mostly attempts to dissuade the player from choosing this ending. While some other endings are framed as undesirable in their subtext, this quest basically pleads with you to turn away, both explicitly in dialogue and implicitly in gameplay. The route to the Frenzied Flame prescription is basically a tour of the Golden Order's worst crimes, reinforcing the tragedies that might drive one to give in to madness. The entrance lies hidden in a ruined block of the capital, surrounded by maddened Albinorics, forced to wear torture devices over their heads. The sewers themselves are home to the Omen born of the Golden lineage, confined to an undercity ghetto. Chief among them are the Omen twins Morgoth and Moog, the latter of whom turned to worship of a blood-obsessed outer god to cope with his imprisonment. At the sight of Grace and Moog's chapel, Melina clocks your interest in the Frenzied Flame, and pleads with you to reconsider.
If you intend to claim the Frenzied Flame, I ask that you cease. It is not to be meddled with. It is chaos, devouring life and thought unending. However ruined this world has become, however mired in torment and despair, life endures. Births continue. There is beauty in that, is there not? If you would become Lord, do not deny this notion. Please, leave the Frenzied Flame alone.
I do not understand people who think Melina has an underdeveloped character. She has a stronger point of view than most of her analogues in previous FromSoft games. It's practically a thesis for Elden Ring. She tells you outright that the world is worth saving, that beauty persists despite the horrors committed by the Golden Order, that the lives of innocents will be ruined by your myopic edgelord bullshit. But if you are unswayed, you can enter the hidden path behind the altar and descend farther. Behind the wall is one of the most horrific areas in the game, the mass grave of the migrant caravan, buried alive because they were rumored to hold heretical beliefs. In their despair, the merchant caravan summoned the Flame of Frenzy, in perhaps the most visceral example in the game of how this kind of violence only perpetuates further suffering. This racial genocide the Golden Order committed did not contain the perceived threat, but instead ensured it would continue, ultimately causing more innocents to suffer. Some precarious platforming takes you to the bottom of the mass grave, where the Three Fingers wait. There, at the sight of Grace, Melina pleads with you again, in case her previous speech was too subtle.
I ask you one more time, please, seek not the Frenzied Flame. As one who strives to become a lord, deny not the lives, the new births of this world. Those who would are not fit to be called lord, when the land they preside over is lifeless.
It's worth pointing out that Melina will not attempt to sway you in favor of or away from any other ending. Even the obviously undesirable choices like the Age of Fracture or Blessing of Despair do not incur a pep talk from Melina. They are both better than the Flame of Frenzy, because even if you make a dumb decision, the world and its denizens remain, and have a chance to make better choices in the coming ages. To paraphrase an old saying, the flame of frenzy fixes no problems. It just eliminates the possibility of any solutions. The level design offers you an alternative here as well. Behind a fake wall is a passage down to the deep-root depths, telling you ludonarratively that you can still turn away from the madness and pursue another choice by investigating the literal root of one of the Golden Order's problems. The character dialogue and the structure of the map are trying to pull you out of the descent into madness, to convince you there are other solutions and very good reasons for taking them. But you are not alone down here. Hayata has finally reached the light, and bids you help her complete her journey to be a finger maiden, symbolically asking you to replace Melina with her.
I realized as we've talked, I'll be a maiden, and you, surely a lord. Go to the door ahead. After divesting yourself of your possessions, it will surely open, and the three fingers will welcome you. May the flame of chaos find purchase within you.
The replacement is more than symbolic, as once you have received the frenzied flame and talk again to Hayata, she burns instead of Melina. If Shabriri's hypocrisy was not evident before, it should be now. He does not care about true rigor or saving anybody, as a maiden has to burn no matter what. Before succumbing to the flame, Hayata relays some final wisdom from the three fingers.
All that there is came from the one great. Then came fractures, and births, and souls. But the greater will made a mistake. Torment, despair, affliction, every sin, every curse, every one born of the mistake. And so, what was borrowed must be returned, melted all away with the yellow chaos flame, until all is one again. Those who gave me grace howled without words, saying they wished they were never born. Become their lord. Take their torment, despair, their affliction, every sin, every curse, and melt it all away. As the Lord of Chaos, no more fractures, no more birth.
The fingers reiterate here the pessimism that caused Vike, Shabriri, Yura, and all the rest to give in to their despair. The powers that be, the greater will, have created a broken system beyond repair, capable of producing only more suffering. In their view, all you can do now is burn it down to stop the suffering. If you continue to the game's end, your only option is to become the Lord of Frenzied Flame. Once again, the mechanics of how you select the ending convey how to read it. By inheriting the Flame of Frenzy, you have internalized abject hopelessness, blinding you to any other potential choices. Even if you have mending runes or if you've completed Ronnie's quest, you have metaphorically plucked out your eyes like Shabriri and his devotees, allowing the Flame of Frenzy to fill them. And if you continue with this ending, you are rewarded with a final, disturbing cutscene. At first, there's no narration or dialogue like the other endings, just this unsettling ambient noise as you unleash the yellow flame and destroy the world. The silence is only broken for a final dash of ancient Greek-style tragedy. Melina stalks the ashes at the very end and promises revenge against you.
Lord of Frenzied Flame, I will seek you as far as you may travel. To deliver you what is yours.
The game does not let you use her as an excuse for inflicting this horror on the lands between. Melina gets the last word, which she uses to rebuke your hypocrisy in saving her. The framing of this final cutscene is a strong final condemnation of the Frenzied Flame ending and the nihilism that it represents. The stories of characters like Irina and Vike illustrate how tempting it is to give in to despair, how futile it seems to try to improve a world where tyranny and systemic violence are the facts of daily life. But they also convey that doing so is a selfish choice that only perpetuates suffering. Edgar created the circumstances that caused Irina's death, and pursuing revenge only maddened him. Vike and later you wanted to save the Finger Maiden from burning, regardless of what she wanted. But a maiden is slain regardless, and if you choose the Frenzied Flame, this comes at the expense of an entire world that, while deeply flawed, had chances to improve. The metaphor of afflicted eyes is crucial here in both cases. Plucking out the eyes, burning them out with madness, yellowing them with the frenzied flame itself. They all convey the same criticism. Nihilism blinds you to anyone's suffering but your own, and giving into it can only cause destruction. Melina is there to remind you of this fact, to ensure that the fundamental selfishness of this choice is the note that this tale ends on. Thankfully, the game offers one last escape hatch if you inherit the Frenzied Flame. In the Frenzied Flame prescription, there is a note that says that Mikola crafted a needle to resist the influence of outer gods, which includes the Flame of Frenzy.
But this is where things end. I pause to even tell you, but I took out the needle myself. Tell whoever put you up to this that if I am to flower into something other than myself, I would rather rot into nothingness as I am.
I won't go into a full summary of Millicent's quest in Farum Azula, in part because I'm tempted to come back to her in a future video. Suffice it to say that by helping Millicent on a journey of self-actualization and beating some famously difficult boss fights, you earn the opportunity to reject the Frenzied Flame, to free yourself from your own hopelessness, to face your inner saboteur and re-enable the other endings.
How deep your saboteur might be. And that's the part that it sort of hurts my heart a little bit. And knowing to not listen to it. Struggle is real, by the way. Struggle is real. What are your musings on that, Candy?
I love it.
Jokes aside, the quest reflects just how difficult it is to pull yourself out of despair, and the impossibility of doing it alone. A casual glance around any given corner of the lands between provides ample evidence that things are bad and getting worse, and it's easy to shrug and give up. But that is deeply selfish. You are not the only one that lives here, and those others have not given up. They are still trying to pull the world out of its tailspin, and that's hard work, especially since powerful people are very invested in seeing the tailspin continue. Those still trying to help can't do it alone. They need you. So seek not the Frenzied Flame. If you care even a little about anyone else, put in the work to find others who haven't given up. And if you have felt the pull of despair, of nihilism, know that you can pull yourself back out. It's hard, but you can do it. We need you to.
I don't like putting seedbed curses in the water. It turns the freaking frogs on me. The Ballarat massacre was a false flag operation.
Got real quiet. It's like, what are they recording over there?